That convenient frozen burrito you microwave for lunch, the one you grab when you're too tired to cook, it might be loaded with sodium levels that could trigger a stroke, mystery meat that's never seen a real cow, and chemicals banned in other countries. I spent weeks investigating America's frozen burrito brands. What I found will make you throw out half your freezer. Some of these so-called convenient meals are sodium catastrophes wrapped in lies. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to expose exactly which 7 frozen burrito brands use mystery ingredients, dangerous sodium levels, and deceptive packaging. By the end, you'll know exactly which burritos to avoid and what 5 you should be stocking in your freezer instead. Let's start with the frozen burrito villains. That bright package in the bottom shelf, the one that costs less than a cup of coffee. Tina's beef and bean burritos look like the ultimate budget solution. Then, you actually eat one. Since the 1980s, Tina's has dominated gas station freezers with one promise: maximum calories for minimum cash. What they don't advertise is what you're actually putting in your body. The beef is barely recognizable. Reviews across Tasting Table and Reddit describe minimal identifiable beef, a filling that's pasty and uniform, like someone mixed refried beans with sawdust. The tortillas either split open in the microwave or turn gummy and rubbery, the kind of texture that makes you question whether you're eating food or a science experiment. Here's the nutritional nightmare: 300 plus calories for barely 8 to 9 grams of protein. That's less than a protein bar, virtually no fiber, and 600 milligrams of sodium, a quarter of your daily limit, in a single burrito that doesn't even taste good. The ingredient list reads like a preservative catalog, chemical after chemical, designed to keep this thing shelf-stable for months. Nothing fresh, nothing real, just laboratory-engineered filler. For families buying these because they're affordable, you're not saving money, you're paying for nutritional sabotage. For anyone watching their blood pressure, this is a heart attack waiting to happen. At $1 to $2 per burrito, you're not buying a meal, you're buying regret wrapped in a tortilla. Walmart's promise of everyday low prices, the great value breakfast. Burritos you grab because it's convenient and cheap are consistently ranked among the worst frozen breakfast options available. The eggs are rubbery and artificial, with a texture suggesting they were never actually liquid. Food scientists describe them as reconstituted egg product. Eggs that have been so processed, they bear almost no resemblance to what came out of a chicken. The sausage is greasy and flavorless, releasing puddles of oil that soak into the tortilla. That grease isn't richness from quality meat, it's cheap fat from the lowest grade meat scraps. The tortilla manages to be simultaneously soggy in the middle and tough at the edges. It never recovers from being frozen. Here's the real crime: 800 milligrams of sodium per burrito. That's a third of your daily limit before 9 a.m. A third of your daily sodium allowance in a breakfast that provides virtually no vegetables and minimal quality protein. Tasting Table's 2024 ranking called these some of the worst options in the freezer case. Testers described flavors as muted and chemical. For parents feeding these to kids before school, you're starting their day with a sodium bomb that will spike their blood pressure and crash their energy by mid-morning. For seniors watching their heart health, this is exactly what your doctor warned you about. At $2 to $3 per burrito, great value is cheap, but the savings aren't worth the damage. Drop a comment if you've been buying these for your family. Let's see how many of us have been fooled by Walmart's packaging. The Spanish name. The colorful packaging promises authentic Tex-Mex flavor. José Olé launched in the 1980s with branding designed to make you think you're getting something real. 40 years later, they're still selling that story, and it's still a complete lie. These beef and cheese burritos consistently rank in the bottom tier of every taste test. Spork's 2024 frozen beef burrito ranking describes excessive grease, mystery meat texture, and a monotone brown filling. The beef is chewy and gristly. The kind of texture that makes you wonder what part of the animal you're actually eating. Not prime cuts, not even decent ground beef. This is meat scraps and filler, pressed into something that vaguely resembles beef. The cheese is processed and artificial. Not real cheddar, it's cheese product, the kind that never melts properly and leaves a waxy coating in your mouth. The tortillas are thin and prone to splitting. The filling distribution is wildly inconsistent. Some bites are all beans, others are all mystery meat. None are satisfying. Here's the real problem. These burritos are aggressively greasy. Not the good richness from quality ingredients, but the cheap oil slick that coats your mouth and leaves you feeling sluggish for hours. The ingredient list runs long with additives and fillers, chemical preservatives, artificial flavors, texture modifiers, everything except actual food. At $2 to $3 per burrito, Jose Ole trades on Hispanic branding while delivering processed junk. If you want a more than a greasy trip down memory lane, keep walking. The beautiful packaging, the sophisticated marketing, the premium price point that screams quality. Evol launched with a mission to revolutionize frozen food, positioning itself as the natural, better-for-you alternative. The actual product? Classic health halo fraud. Several of Evol's chicken-based burritos are consistently criticized for dry, stringy meat that tastes more like paper than chicken. The Takeout's 2024 frozen chicken burrito taste test describes dry and stringy chicken with underwhelming flavor that doesn't justify the premium price. The shredded chicken is tough and flavorless, lacking the moisture and seasoning that would make it actually enjoyable. It's the kind of chicken that makes you chew and chew, never quite breaking down, never quite tasting like anything. Here's what's particularly frustrating. Evol charges $4 to $5 per burrito while delivering sodium levels that rival cheaper brands. You're paying double for organic labels and natural buzzwords, but getting a burrito that tastes like it was designed by nutritionists who've never enjoyed food. The packaging promises clean eating. The ingredient list is admittedly better than value brands, but the eating experience is so unsatisfying that it defeats the entire purpose of convenience food. At $4 to $5 per burrito, you're paying for a story, not a meal. Just because something is marketed as healthy doesn't mean it's good. Hit subscribe so you never trust a health food label without knowing what's really inside. The massive bags at Walmart, Costco, Sam's Club. El Monterey is everywhere, promising convenience and value in quantities that seem too good to be true. The appeal is obvious. Huge bags of burritos for pennies each. The trade-off is immediately apparent once you microwave one. Reviews routinely describe El Monterey's beef and bean burritos as mushy, with pasty refried filling that tastes more like wet oatmeal than beans. The tortillas are engineering disasters. They either dry out completely, turning into cardboard, or blow out entirely, exploding in your microwave. There's no middle ground, just different varieties of disappointment. Nutritionally, each burrito delivers around 300 calories and 9 to 10 grams of protein, which sounds reasonable until you see the sodium. 700 milligrams per burrito. That's nearly a third of your daily limit in a single convenience meal. Here's what kills me. El Monterey has convinced millions that buying in bulk means saving money. But you're not saving anything if the food is inedible. You're just buying disappointment in larger quantities. At $1 to $2 per burrito in bulk packs, El Monterey is aggressively affordable. But seriously, cheap food isn't a bargain if it's poisoning you. Take everything wrong with regular El Monterey burritos and supersize them into a nutritional disaster. The XXL or monster burritos push 900 plus calories and deliver well over 1,500 milligrams of sodium in a single burrito. Let that sink in. 1,500 milligrams is more than half your daily limit in one meal. For anyone watching heart health or blood pressure, this isn't food. It's a medical emergency wrapped in a tortilla. Tasting Table's 2024 frozen burrito ranking repeatedly flags the XXL versions as sodium bombs, with pasty beans, off-tasting meat, and a heavy gut bomb feel. The sheer size makes portion control impossible. Once you microwave it, you're committed. And after eating one, the only thing you'll want to do is lie down and regret your choices. In all honesty, the XXL format is pure marketing targeting the American belief that more is always better. But more of a bad thing is just more bad. The pasty filling doesn't improve at scale. The mystery meat doesn't become more identifiable. At $3 to $4 per burrito, you're not buying a meal. You're buying a food coma and a trip to the cardiologist. At the absolute bottom are the nameless, generic, red-hot beef bricks sold in gas stations for $1 to $2 each. No recognizable brand, just regional manufacturers distributed to places where people buy food out of desperation. And they're genuinely inedible. Chowhound's 2024 frozen beef burrito ranking describes these as oily, gristly, and nearly inedible, with chewy meat bits, artificial spice burn, and gummy tortillas that never quite come back from frozen. The beef is chewy and artificial, more like textured protein paste than meat. This is the absolute bottom of the meat supply chain, the scraps that even budget brands reject. The spice level is aggressive but flavorless, just heat without complexity. It burns your mouth without tasting like anything. That's not seasoning. That's chemical irritation designed to mask how bad the actual ingredients are. The ingredient lists read like laboratory inventories. Artificial colors, synthetic preservatives, flavor enhancers, stabilizers. Nothing natural, nothing real. The nutritional profile is a disaster. 400 plus calories, 800 plus milligrams sodium, minimal protein quality. But here's the most damning evidence. These burritos are so bad that even gas station customers, people buying food at 2 a.m. out of necessity, leave negative reviews. When your target demographic is desperate and hungry, and you still can't satisfy them, you've achieved a special kind of failure. At $1 to $2 each, these aren't food. They're a dare disguised as dinner. Okay, we made it past the burrito reject aisle, so subscribe and stick around. We are about to get into the 5 frozen burritos that will genuinely put a smile on your face. Finally, a frozen burrito that doesn't need tricks. Amy's Kitchen has been the gold standard for organic frozen foods since 1987. Founded by Andy and Rachel Berliner, not marketing executives, but real people who actually cared about what goes in your body. For over 35 years, they've maintained family ownership and refused to cut corners. While every other brand was racing to the bottom, Amy's stayed committed to making food that's actually food. Their bean and rice burritos avoid the gluey, oversalted texture that plagues value brands. The ingredient list is refreshingly short: organic pinto beans, organic brown rice, organic vegetables, spices. No mystery chemicals, no synthetic preservatives. The nutritional profile actually makes sense. Solid fiber content, moderate sodium, around 540 milligrams versus 700 plus for competitors, and protein from real beans rather than processed meat paste. They've been doing this right since before organic was trendy. They pioneered the better-for-you frozen food category and never compromised their standards. At $3 to $4 per burrito, Amy's costs about $2 more than El Monterey. But you're paying for USDA organic ingredients, ethical sourcing, and a company that's been doing this right for decades. Real beans, real rice, nothing to hide. For families who want to stop gambling with their health, start here. Trader Joe's built their brand on a radical idea. You don't have to sacrifice quality for affordability. Their carne asada burritos prove this philosophy works. The carne asada burritos feature visible chunks of seasoned beef that actually taste like meat. Not mystery protein crumbles, but recognizable beef with proper marbling and texture. The seasoning is complex and authentic, reminiscent of actual Mexican cuisine rather than generic Southwestern flavor. This tastes like something a real person cooked, not something a factory extruded. Sport's 2024 Frozen Burrito ranking praises Trader Joe's for visible chunks of protein, tortillas that hold together, and seasoning that reminds people of a casual restaurant burrito. The nutritional profile is respectable. Decent protein per burrito, around 15 to 18 grams, moderate sodium, and relatively short ingredient lists compared to big brand alternatives. Compare this to José Olé at a similar $3 price point, and the difference is staggering. Trader Joe's delivers flavor, texture, and ingredients you can identify. José Olé delivers greasy disappointment. Trader Joe's represents the sweet spot between quality and affordability. You're getting sophistication without the premium markup, clean ingredients without the health food store pricing. For anyone tired of mystery meat and chemical flavoring, Trader Joe's proves you don't have to settle. While some Evol burritos disappoint, their breakfast burritos, particularly the uncured bacon, egg, and potato version, represent the brand at its absolute best. The difference is immediately apparent. Real pieces of egg that actually look and taste like eggs, not the rubbery yellow substance found in Great Value. The uncured bacon provides a smoky flavor without nitrates. The potatoes are properly seasoned and maintain their texture. Tasting Table's 2024 Frozen Breakfast Burrito ranking highlights Evol among the best options, praising distinct flavors, visible pieces of egg, potato, and meat, and a less greasy profile than cheaper rivals. Here's what I appreciate. This particular Evol product justifies the premium pricing. While some dinner burritos feel overpriced and disappointing, the breakfast burritos deliver genuine quality. The sodium is reasonable compared to the category, and you're getting more real protein and fewer bizarre textures than rock-bottom offerings, creating a breakfast that provides sustained energy rather than a crash by 10 a.m. Compare this to Great Value at $2.50 with rubbery eggs and 800 milligrams of sodium. Evol costs $4 to $5, about $2 more, but that extra $2 buys you real eggs, real bacon, and a breakfast that won't spike your blood pressure. For anyone trying to start their day right, this won't sabotage your morning. If you want a breakfast burrito that leans healthier without sacrificing satisfaction, Amy's breakfast burritos are regularly singled out by both chefs and dietitians as the category leader. These use organic ingredients, real vegetables, and beans or potatoes for substance instead of greasy processed meat. The flavor profile is consistently described as fresh tasting and closest to something you'd make at home. The vegetables are recognizable and properly cooked. The beans provide satisfying protein and fiber. Eating Well's dietitian-approved guide consistently recommends Amy's breakfast burritos, noting the organic positioning, vegetable content, and nutritional balance. Here's what kills me about most breakfast burritos. They're designed to be heavy and greasy, leaving you sluggish. Amy's takes the opposite approach, creating a breakfast that's satisfying but not overwhelming. The nutritional profile is exactly what you'd want. More fiber than most options, around 7 grams versus 3 grams for competitors. Fewer sketchy additives and sustained energy. At $3 to $4, Amy's costs about $1.50 more than Great Value. But you're paying for organic ingredients, better nutrition, and a breakfast that won't derail your morning. Real vegetables, real fiber, real sustained energy. Red's All Natural represents everything that's right about the frozen burrito category. This is where convenience food stops being junk you tolerate and starts feeling like actual food you'd choose to eat. The steak and cheddar burrito is repeatedly praised in taste tests for having identifiable, flavorful steak and real cheese in a filling that eats like a proper meal. The difference is immediately apparent. Actual pieces of steak that you can see, chew, and taste. Not mystery meat crumbles, but recognizable beef with proper seasoning and texture. The cheese is real cheddar, not processed cheese product, creating richness and depth that's completely absent from value brands. Clean Plates' comprehensive taste test highlights Reds as the brand to stock up on after tasting across competitors, noting stronger protein content, better ingredient quality, and more satisfying texture. The company uses humanely raised meats and relatively simple ingredient lists. The protein content is genuinely high, around 20 grams. The sodium is present but reasonable. Compare this to El Monterey at $1.50 with pasty beans and mystery meat. Reds costs $4 to $6, about $3 to $4 more. But you're paying for humanely raised meat, real ingredients, and a burrito that actually tastes like food. Spork's 2024 ranking consistently places Reds at or near the top, noting that Reds consistently delivers the best blend of flavor, ingredient quality, and macros in the frozen burrito aisle. For people who want convenience without compromise, this is it. For anyone tired of mystery meat and chemical flavoring, Reds proves frozen food can be real food. For families who want to actually enjoy their meals, this is worth every extra dollar. The frozen burrito aisle is a battlefield between companies that care about your health and companies that care about profit margins. The worst offenders are sodium bombs engineered to be cheap and addictive. But the champions? They're designed by people who actually give a damn. Your dinner deserves better than mystery meat in a tortilla that splits. Demand real ingredients. Support the companies that deliver them. Hit subscribe for more frozen food truth and drop a comment about your worst burrito experience. Until next time, keep your standards high and your freezer stocked with worthy burritos.